Okay, we'll start then. So we would be looking at contact builder today. That is contact builder in Marketing Cloud and then automation studio. So let's talk about contact builder. Contact builder provides you access to contacts. That is like the contacts might be coming from Salesforce. The contacts might be coming from external sources. These all contacts are stored and you can create, like you can see the relationship, create relationships, and also you can see all the contacts that have been stored. The all contacts, there is a list called as all contacts. So in this all contacts, you see whatever the contacts are stored in Marketing Cloud. So you are paying or you pay for these all contacts. That is a storage space. Like if you are going with an enterprise edition or with a basic edition, the contact storage is a limit or it is limited. Like you can store up to 50K or you can store up to 50 or 100K contacts in your account based on the additions, right? Here you would see all the total number of unique contacts or total number of contacts based on subscriber key that are stored in Marketing Cloud. So for each contact, you can see an engagement, that is activity. Has he opened an email, clicked an email, or unsubscribed? You can see the membership or subscription to the list or channels. And also the attributes, like for data extensions, we have attributes. Oh, sorry, my bad. Yeah. So for attributes, we have information about a specific contact. Like if you open a contact, you will see the information relative to the contact, that is where he is stored or where it is stored into a data extension. Then okay. Then we'll move on to next one. So we have data extensions in contact builder. So this data extension represents, or we can manage or manipulate data extensions from contact builder. Like you can determine the attributes, you can add an attribute, you can remove an attribute. Also, you can change the subscriber key. Also, there are some policies, permissions that you can change into data extensions via contact builder. So by default, each data extension, if it is unused, not used, not accessed, by default, it would be removed after 6 months. So from the date of creation, if it is not used, it would be removed automatically. Okay, all right. So that is called as retention policy. We'll see that. And then there is something called as contact builder imports. So let's move on. Let's go to first. Let's log in into Marketing Cloud. So how do we navigate? We navigate to contact builder by going to audience builder. So in here we have all contacts, right? So when we go to all contacts, on here you can see all the contacts that are stored, like the count. So for now we have around 7 with the contact key. So our contact key is our subscriber key that we map. into the data extensions. So whatever the key is mapped onto the data extension is our contact key. And when we send any email on these data extension, these are contacts. All contacts are added to Marketing Cloud's all contacts. So by default, there can be a chance of duplication. How? Like if you change the contact key, for now it is email address, and now you change it to a Salesforce ID, it would, and you send a campaign or an email, it would again add that contact to all contacts. So that can be a duplication. So you must keep contact key same for every data extension. Like if we keep email address as a contact as a subscriber key, you should keep email address as a subscriber key for every record that you save in data extension. So here is like a duplication. So first contact is saved with the name as a subscriber key, and in here again the same one is mapped with the subscriber key as email. So this is a duplication. For one contact, two storage limit is being utilized. So in all contacts, you can see the contacts, those are added by channels as well. Like if you go to email, how many contacts are added via email? Like 7. How many contacts are added by import? 0, right? How many are added by manual method? 0. That is how you can segregate, you can check the contacts added by, and also the total number of contacts that are stored. Then you also have mobile list. So in here, when you send any like mobile list are always used to send SMS. So you can see how many people are actually stored into a mobile list. That is our mobile studio. Right? It automatically takes the contact key. So all contacts is the total number of contacts that we store in Marketing Cloud. So we have engagement, membership, and attributes. Let's check that. So if I go to my contact, you can see engagement, you can see membership, and you can see the attributes. So what data extension is been storing into contact builder if connected, you can see all the details about the contact. That is engagement, membership, and attributes. Now let's move to the data extension. So we have data extension tab in contact builder where you can actually see the data extensions. Now these are all the same data extensions that you have created into Email Studio. So in here you can see one policy that you can change, that is called as data retention policy. By default, every data extension that is created would be deleted after 6 months if it is not used. You can set this policy, or you can keep this policy as on, where you can delete individual records. You can also delete all the records and data extension and all the records after specific period of time. Like after 6 days, you can delete it, or on a specific date. You can delete, let's say, after, you can delete on the 30th, right, on a specific date. Or you can say delete after 5 days of creation. And then you can reset it, like reset period on import. So if something is again imported in this data extension, It would reset the days, and after 5 days, automatically all the records would be deleted. So this is like by default off. You can change these policies coming to a contact builder. You have option in contact builder. And also you can change the subscriber keys if needed. It is not needed to change it, but if you want to make a data extension sendable, you can map it. Right? Also, you can add a manual record. You can add manual records. So now this is a filtered data extension. That is why you are not able to add. So you want to add a manual record into a contact builder. You could do that by going to a data extension and then to records, and then you can add a record. Right? Then there is something called as imports. Imports. In imports tab, basically you can create an import. That means you can import the data or files into a data extension. How? So when you create an import definition, it is called as import definition. When you create an import definition, you have an option to choose a list or a data extension. We always, or we store, let's select the data extension. So either I could upload a file, a CSV as a source, or I could have a file location that is an FTP, that is file transfer location, that comes with Marketing Cloud. Also, you can select import from existing data extension. That means if you have a data extension and you want to import from that data extension, you can select the data extension, and then again, this is the source. And then the destination, like you can select a destination data extension, like which data extension you want to store these all records. Then there is type of import, that is add and update, add only, update only, and overwrite. So add and update is like it would add if the record is not found. If it is found, the record would be updated. The add only option would only add the record, not check for an updation. Update only would only update the record, not add. It would not add. Overwrite would refresh everything. That means it would refresh the data extension, it would overwrite everything. So this is like if you have a CSV, you can expect the double quotes as a text qualifier and normalize numbers based on local. It is for phone number. If we go on the next, you can see the required fields. You can map those manually. First name and then the last name. Okay. So we have mapped the field. What is the definition name? So let's say it is test. Skip the last import was less than hour ago. So it again analyzes if the import is less than hour, it would skip it. The import would not happen. Fail file if it is older than 48. That means if file is less than, if it is greater than 2 days, it would fail the import. It would not import. Right? So let's click on it. Let's finish. Now our definition has been created. How to start it? On the actions, you can see start. So once it is started, it would be in the processing state, and then the state would be complete. So you can see the state is complete. That means the contacts or the records are imported. So when you want to import anything into a data extension, the method is you'll go to imports, that is in contact builder, and then create import definition. So there is one thing called as contact or data designer in contact builder, that is, so data designer would allow us to map, organize and relate the information of the contacts that are into the account. Like, it would enable us to manage the data extension and also that store the information and how they are relating to each other. As an example, you can use the email address from contact to link another data extension that contains product and shipping information. That means you have a contact record which can now be into a product data extension and the shipping data extension. Now you can relate these two data extensions with an email address as a common attribute. So you can map or create a link between the data extensions. So this link allows you to create filters based on the email address that links to a specific order or specific product. So the filters can be created where you can filter out the relationship that is created between the contacts based on the mapping. Like if a email address is also present in the product data extension and also in the shipping data extension, you can relate those and then you can utilize into a filter or into a journey builder, like a decision split. So this is a trailhead link for this contact builder. I'll just post it on the chat. So you can go through this trailhead, you can complete this trailhead to give a good idea about the contact builder. So let's see the relationship, how the relationship is being connected. So let's try to create one new group. So you can see two options. One is create new data extension and second is link data extension. So if already the data extensions are created, you can link those. So on the left side, we have system attributes and on the right side, we have the data extensions. So in here, we can relate the contact key as our email. So now this attribute group is been created where we have connected a data extension or mapped or linked a data extension to the system attributes. Like now email address is being mapped with a contact key. If we are want to use or if you are using this data extension as an entry source into a journey builder, your contacts would enter into a journey based on the contact key. Right? And you can also relate or map the data extension further to this data extension. If you have same, if you can have, if you have email address in another data extension like an attribute, you can map the data extensions also. So this would enable you, like I have connected email with email address, this would enable you to use this relationship into decision split into data or decision split into journey builder and also in filters. So now these attributes combined of two data extension are called as, or there is a number like four attributes in this data extension and I think 26 in here might be. So we have a number like this is a collection or combination of attributes that can be utilized into filter and distance splits. Yes, so we have 33 in total, 33 attributes. That is an attribute group. The name is new attribute trust. So these attribute groups are used when you want to map the data extensions. Now we will move on to automation. That is Automation Studio. In Marketing Cloud, Automation Studio is used when you want to automate the task, when you want the task to be repeated. Like we have activities in Automation Studio, those are repeated based on the starting sources or entry sources, right? There are several tasks, so how to navigate? You'll go to Journey Builder and then Automation Studio. So this Automation Studio has its own starting sources. So this is how where you drag and drop and create the automations like starting sources and activities. A schedule is a specific time that you can say like it will start in 30 every day 12 a.m. The time zone, it would repeat itself. It can repeat itself hourly, daily, weekly, weekdays, and monthly, also yearly. So let's say if any automation runs at daily, and when it would end, it would never end, or and after a specific occurrences like 5 occurrences, or on a specific date. So this is how you schedule an automation. So now the schedule is defined, and then the activities can be dragged and configured. So we have a filter activity. So filter activity is like use when you want to create filtered list or filtered data extensions. So this filter activity would work on the data extensions. When I want to say like whenever the email is not null, or whenever the age is equal to 50, or age is between 25 to 50, that can be a filter with a rule as age between 25 to 50. So when you create this filter, and then you can automate that filter into Automation Studio. So for this you need to create a filter definition. A filter definition can be created from Email Studio. So a filter definition can be created from an Email Studio. Like if you move to Email Studio, there is a filter definition folder where you can create filter definitions. So if you go to filter data filters, a filter definition can be created here. Like you can create on a data extension wherein you can select a data extension, click on OK. Now let's say email is not null, is our filter definition. and we'll save it as email not empty. So this filter definition would create a data extension now, which can be utilized to send email campaigns. Like when I go to Automation Studio, I could choose it. I'll create a new one that says email not empty. So once I select the definition that is like we just created, and the data extension name that will be created once this automation runs. This is our data extension name, that is the type is filtered, and then finish. So now we can run the automation, like we can run it once, select the activities and run. So in the workflow, you can create automation. In activity, you can check if the automation is in what state, like it is completed, are there errors. On the left side, you have notification settings where you can specify which email address to be reached or send an email on. For if there are errors, you can specify an email address. If on the completion, you can specify an email address. That means you can track the automation if it is running or not. It might take some time. It is already in running state. Yes, it is processing. It is still processing. We'll wait for a minute. Let's see. Okay. All right. It is completed. Let's see if it is been created or not. Yes. You can see email not null. It is type filter and we have three records. So we have three records in here which is like a filter, and the condition is email is not empty. This automation, so we have several automation activities like data extract, which is used to extract data from data extensions and then save it to an FTP location. But when you use a data extract, it would always store the extract into a safe house. And from the safe house, you need a file transfer activity to move the data from data extension or the safe house to an FTP location. So there are combination of activities that can be done. So these all combination of these all activities would be used to achieve the goal. Like when I say, or let's say we want a daily backup automation of a data extension, then we would need data extract and also a file transfer. So what data extract would do, it would extract the data and store it into a safe house. Once it's stored into safe house, we need file transfer activity to move that data or that CSV file from safe house to an FTP location. So if you don't move that file from safe house to an FTP, after 21 days, it would be automatically deleted. So this is a daily backup automation of a data extension. So one activity or one data extract would be relative to one data extension. So for multiple data extension, you have to use multiple data extracts, and so file transfers as well. So you can have, this is called a step one. So you can have multiple activities into step one. So it would not move to step two unless and until all the activities in from step one are completed. So there are several activities with the definition. I'll send a link for these in a minute. So here is the link for Automation Studio help document, where you can find all the activities relative to Automation Studio and you can learn about them. So if you want to import file activity, if you want to import any file from FTP, you want to automate that, you can use import file. So this import file actually imports file from an FTP location to a data extension. Let's say any third party application, anything that is not of Marketing Cloud or Salesforce, pushes file or sends files on FTP, that is into a CSV format on an FTP location. And now you want this file into a data extension. So to do this, you will need import file activity, which would import the file from FTP to a data extension. There is send email activity which can be used when you want to send an email, right? So when the schedule would run, the email would be sent. If there is an send email activity into your automation, SQL query activity or SQL queries. So you can use these queries to extract or query the data extension and then save it to another data extension. So Automation Studio is big. There are several activities that you need to understand. Also, Sequels are like you can use joins. You can use joins between two data extensions like inner join, left join, right join. So inner join means more data, two or more data extensions, you will be using joins, or you need to use joins. So then there is an import file that is like if you want to have a CSV from FTP location into a data extension. So file transfer is used to encrypt or decrypt. Like you can also move a file from safe house to an FTP location, or you can also use it to encrypt or decrypt a file. Majorly not encrypt, sorry. You can use it for unzip or decrypt. Then there is a script activity. In the script activity, you can write. Oh, my screen is again freezed. Sorry. So script activity is like you can write a server-side JavaScript on the script activity where it would execute that script. Execute the script as in these there is server-side JavaScript that can be written on the script activities, which can again call to automation, or you can have data extension activities. Filter activity says like you have to use data filters that would again filter out everything based on the rules. And then there is a data extract activity which would be used when you want to extract or take a backup of a data extension into a CSV format. It would be storing it into a safe house, that is Marketing Cloud's internal directory. And then you will use file transfer to move that file from that safe house to an FTP location. Verification activity. So it is used to avoid unintended outcomes. That means verification would actually verify if there is data into a data extension or not. If there is no data into data extension, it would stop the automation. Right? So we have email not null as a data extension. It says if the count is or is not. If the count is equal to 0, we have two actions. One is stop the automation and second is send email. That means either you can stop the automation or you can send an email notification. The benefit of these activities, like you can reduce the unnecessary uses of the automation. If the data size of a data extension is 0, we can stop the automation. No need to run the automation. Or else, if the data size of the data extension is below 10, you can also send an email notification where you can specify an email address of the receiver and also the node, that is a body of the email. So verification activity is only used to check. It is a checkpoint to check the data extension count. So there are several activities. I've sent you a link. You can see those activities, the details of it, and the combination of it would be your automation, and it would be based on a schedule. So we have another starting source as a file drop. So file drop is Okay. The file drop is used whenever a file is placed on an active location. So if a file is placed on an active location, the automation will run. So file location is our FTP location. If any CSV, any file is being uploaded into that location, the automation would start running. Automation would start running that as in it would start the steps. That is step one, step two, step three, whatever steps you have. This is all about an overview of an automation studio. If you have any questions, this is the right time to ask. Do you have any questions, guys? Okay, if you don't have any, we'll stop here today. We'll learn about, or the next session would be about Journey Builder. That is the heart of Marketing Cloud. And I have sent you one link that is for LWC session. If you are interested, you can join. It is going to start at 8:30 p.m. IST. Thank you, guys. Thank you for your time. Stay, stay tuned. Bye, everyone.